So we have level 2 LIFEPAC, comes with 5 subjects. We have science, history, geography, language arts, Bible, and math. So I'll tell you what drew me to this curriculum to begin with. And it was just the fact that it was open and go. Everything was so organized. I liked the fact that it was 10 workbooks. You kind of just do them at your own pace. And when you finish one book, then you just kind of move on to the next. And it just seemed so simple, so easy, stress-free. And personally, I like workbooks. So I, was like, okay, like this can work for us. And I felt a lot of peace when I ordered this. I was like, this is the curriculum, this is the one. But when I got it, I actually realize now that it is not going to work for us, but it still may work for you. And the reasons for us that it isn't going to work is because the level of writing that is required, or the amount of writing that is required per lesson or per page, will very much overwhelm my child that has, again, not diagnosed, but dyslexia and dysgraphia. It is a challenge. He just does not have the stamina in his hands, or even his motor skills or his attention span, to enjoy this curriculum. So the other thing was this is the purple one, this is Bible. Now, you don't have to order this one. You can just order the 4, or you can even order just like individual subjects, but I decided to try the whole thing. And I want to mention that we are a Jewish homeschool family, and I was hoping that I could kind of pull out Old Testament from the Bible section or the Bible workbooks and kind of make it work for our religion, our viewpoint, our, what our family believes in. And there were several books that I felt like, yes, we can use this. And I just also feel like, there really aren't any Jewish curriculum. So as a Jewish homeschool family, our options are very limited, and we kind of just have to make work like what is out there. And thankfully, a lot of the Christian curriculums are very much focused on Old Testament. So I figured, we could make that work. And the majority of this, I actually felt like, this could work for us. But overall, when I went through, I didn't actually go through every single box. I went through math, language arts, and the Bible before realizing, yeah, he's going to hate this, which is unfortunate, because I have to go through the whole return process, and it's quite expensive, actually. So, but I figured I would do a little bit of a flip through. So hopefully this can help you make the best decision for your family and your kids. So let's get started. So the first thing I will show you is what was in the math box. Now, again, bear with me. I know this is not top quality video. I apologize. Teacher's manual. And then you have your 10 booklets. And the first thing that I noticed was I felt like even book 1 and book 2, we could probably just take the test and just make sure that he understood the concepts and then move on. But I will show you what this covered, which is basically, I felt like a review from, first grade, which is very typical. Numbers and words to 100, subtraction, number order, fact families, another number order. So here is, and then every one comes with like an objective. I do know that he wouldn't have to do every single problem. I know some people will skip, they'll do, every other, but I just know for my son, this would be overwhelming and way too much for his hands to do at this stage. Even though he can do the math, just the writing is going to be too much, especially doing multiple subjects in a day. That's just an example of book one. In my opinion, for this level, I don't feel like the teacher guide is that necessary. It's pretty, simple concepts. A lot of the other videos that are reviewing LIFEPAC kind of already talk about how there is a test in the middle and you can rip it out, and that's something that your kids are supposed to do alone to know if they are ready to move on to the next packet or not, and if things are mastered. And there are additional tests in the teacher's guide as well, should you need them. So that's the first book. I'll just, very briefly go through maybe one more, and then I'll move on to the next section. So this would be Unit 5. Here are the objectives: number sentences, patterns, place values, adding, subtracting, dollars, rounding. So I love all the topics. But again, just a little bit, not even a little bit, definitely too much handwriting for him. And the last couple years, I have done quite a bulk of the writing for him even. So, we've tried a lot of things, but now that he is about to be 7, I would love to see him have a little more independence with, whatever the curriculum is that we choose. So, this isn't, I think, terrible. Like here, for example, like I may just have him do like this row and this row. And as long as he can, master that subtraction, then I feel like we can move on to the next subject. And yeah, so I will now show you the language arts box. Okay, moving on to LIFEPAC Language Arts. So as previously said, it all comes with your teacher's guide and then your 10 workbooks. And then one thing I noticed too was that some of the workbooks are thicker and some are thinner than others. Just something to note. And so this would be Unit 1, the first book. And again, I was like so disappointed that this isn't going to work for us because I actually think it's really great. There's also spelling in here. And, you read the story, there's phonics, and then as I flip, you'll probably see like, this was all good. That was fine. But then, we kind of start getting here. And yeah, these are, spelling words, which the words themselves I feel like are, very appropriate. But then there's just, this would take my son so long. This would probably take, multiple days to complete, just these couple pages. And I really do want him to get the most out of whatever curriculum, we are using. So, we're back here again and just, lots of blanks, which if your kid really likes writing, then this would probably be great because I don't see anything wrong with the curriculum itself. It's just that I don't see my son enjoying it. And so this is the first book, and same thing, there's a test and a self-test. Let me maybe just move through. Okay, so this would be Unit 8 out of 10. I'll just show you. They're starting to introduce cursive, which I also like. And I know that this curriculum is also used in actual Christian schools as well. So it's definitely legit, well thought out curriculum. You know, some of these books aren't as much writing as some of the others, but I've noticed that my son needs a bit more tactile work, or he's much more of a tactile learner. So as much as I like workbooks, you know, this is about him and what he needs. And I can also tell you that we are still struggling with regular letter formation. So like, we are not ready for cursive yet. And let me maybe do one more. Let's see, just unit 4, just check that out. Just a little flip through for you guys. I love copy work, I think it's important. He's just not able to do that much yet. But we are working with occupational therapy, and we are hoping, I hope in like a year, you know, we'll be maybe able to do something like this. And even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it's much writing, it would be for him. So the last thing I will show you is the Bible, because the other ones I didn't open yet. And since I am returning it, I didn't want to risk damaging it. Okay, so I just opened the Bible box. And as I said, we are a Jewish family, and I was hoping that I could use this to incorporate into our Jewish values, as I anticipated a lot of this would be based on Old Testament, and it was. So again, teacher's guide, extra tests, 10 books. There are self-tests in every book. The only one that there's maybe one or two books that I felt like we probably couldn't use as a Jewish family, but overall, I feel like if you are a Christian family, this, in my opinion, looked amazing. Like, I would love it for my kids. And if you're a Jewish family, you could probably, you know, make it work if you needed to. So I'll just, you know, flip through. Yeah, actually, this was one of my favorite ones. This was, you know, the story of Passover. And I feel like it was very well done. And it follows the same format. This is actually my favorite Bible story. I feel like if I could keep this book, I would, because I think it's very well done. But if you can imagine like doing 3 of these booklets a day, you know, because you'd have to do at least that much to get done in time by the end of the year, you can kind of see how this could really add up when it comes to, you know, how much writing there is. Just keep flipping, crosswords, getting into the plagues, and the lamb's blood on the door. So again, even from a non-Christian person, I personally feel like they did a really good job with that. And then I did just want to quickly show you that these are the other 2 boxes, and I can tell you what the subjects were in the book. So science is your senses, grade 2 is our world, the living and the non-living, plants, animals, you, pet and plant care, your 5 senses, physical properties, our neighborhood, changes in our world, and looking at our world. I love all those topics. I think that's so age appropriate, and I would, again, sad that it's not gonna work out for us, but history and geography, which are some of my favorite subjects. One of my daughters, she's 5, and she has such an interest in geography. And let's see what they are doing for 2nd grade. Their topics are looking back, settling a new world, a new government for a new country, government under construction, our government close to home, westward from the original colonies, settling the frontier, exploring America with maps, past, present, and future maps, review United States history. So there is definitely a lot in there for second grade. Going from New World all the way to the westward expansion. So there's a lot of history covered in that. So that is my LIFEPAC grade 2 review. And I hope that will help you make decisions for your family. Unfortunately, it's not gonna work for our family, at least not now. Maybe sometime in the future it will. But overall, I feel like it is a great curriculum. And if your children are like to ride or advanced riders, I definitely think that this could work out for them. So any questions, always leave a comment. I will do my best to answer it. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. See you next time. Bye.